Good day, esteemed students. Once again, my name is Yusuf Olayinka Shogweson. I appreciate you. We have been talking about tests, test validity, test reliability. Today, we are going to be talking about test scoring. Test scoring is as important as developing a test itself, just because it's closer to the final stage of the test. So, when we say we want to score tests, it will going to be funny that test scoring is normal thing. It is just for us to determine whether somebody has gotten it right or somebody has gotten it wrong. But there is more to it than that. There are two major approaches when you are doing test scoring. It's either you are looking at it globally or holistically, or you are looking at it from the analytical approach to test scoring. So when you are looking at it globally, that's an approach. When you are looking at it analytically, that's also an approach to test scoring. So it's either you are looking at it from the global method of scoring or the analytical approach. More importantly, the global method of test scoring is also refers to the holistic method of scoring or impressionistic test scoring method. The analytical approach to scoring, just like the name implies, analytical, it is such that it will have specific guidelines, indicators that will be used to score the items on a test. So another name for global method is holistic method or impressionistic method. Just like the name implies, global method, holistic method or impressionistic method. It implies that an individual is scoring a test based on a general view or a subjective view that can be of impression. So the impression they are giving matters when scoring using global method, usually for essay items. So when you are scoring for essay items and you are using the global or impressionistic method, the introduction given by the respondent or the examinee, if the impression given from the introduction is suitable, you will score that person based on that impression or otherwise. So you are using other things that may not really be directly an indicator of what you are looking at, or they may be a general overview to what you want to score when you are looking at the global method. It is more subjective. But the analytical method is more objective, as it will state out what you want to score and the allocation or the allocated mark to what you want to score. And when you are scoring analytically, it will allow you to follow a guide that will serve as a guide to what you are trying to establish in terms of obtain from the test. Analytical method of scoring is such that if it is to be scored for objective test or essay test, it will allow the scorer to look at salient things which will be in the guide, and the scorer will follow that to allocate mark. That is generally. But specifically, when you are looking at test scoring specifically, we have the number right method, the number right, we have the negative marking. We have the confidence scoring method, and we have the partial credit scoring method, and finally we have the logical choice scoring method. So just like I have said, when you are scoring, we have the number right scoring method, negative marking, confidence scoring, partial credit scoring method, logical choice weight or logical choice scoring method. You are used to number right. Why? Because it is specifically the number of right answer to a test. So if you have 20 items, using the number right scoring method, an examiner that scored 12 implies that 12 out of the 20 was scored right, 8 was scored wrong. So that's basic number right. When you are scoring objective test items, where you have dichotomous scoring, 1 for right, 0 for wrong. So a 12 over 20 implies that that individual or examinee scored 20 correctly, number right, number of right answer, while the wrong option will be 8. So that's the most simplest one, which we are all used to. The negative marking scoring method is also known as correction for guessing. This is used especially when there is instruction beforehand on the test that do not guess. Negative marking will be used to correct for guessing or tendency to guess, as the case may be. By formula, it is calculated as R minus W over N minus 1, where R is the right answer that you have gotten right, W is the wrong ones that you missed, and N is the number of options in the objective item. The R, which is the right answer, the one that you got correctly, the W is the wrong one that you have guessed. There's a difference between the wrong one that you did not pick at all. If you decided not to guess, just like it has been given in the instruction, you only missed it and it will not be accounted for you. So that means you did not guess in the remaining ones, but you missed it. But the moment you picked it and you missed it, it's going to be accounted and it will form the wrong ones that you have guessed. The N is the number of options. For a 4 option, your N will be 4. A 3 option, your N will be 3. A 2 option, your N will be what? 2. That because the probability of guessing correctly for a 4 option will be 25%. A 2 option will be what? 50%. A 3 option will be 33.3%, as the case may be. So when you are using correction for guessing, it implies that, for example, hypothetically, in a 20 item, somebody scored 12 correctly and guessed in 8 but missed it. So that implies that your R is 12, your W will be 8. Because it's a 4 option, A to D, your N will be 4. So if you are to use correction for guessing, that would be 12. 4 minus 1 will give you 3, and that will be 8 over 3, which implies that your answer will be 3 divided by 8 will be 2.7, and that will give us 9.3, approximately 9. So that implies that if you are looking at correction for guessing, the person or the test taker or examinee will eventually score 9 because of guessing wrongly 8 of the items on the test. That is negative marking. The confidence scoring is another scoring approach that will, apart from allowing you to pick the correct option, will also ask you to indicate the confidence at which you are sure that that is the correct option. So more importantly, the more you pick the correct option and you are claiming to be 100% correct, the better you score. So if you pick a correct option and you are having a 0% confidence, it will affect the score that you'll be given using confidence scoring method. Partial credit scoring method try to award mark, not full mark but partial mark, to an examinee's response based on at least an indicator that the person is on the right path to get it correctly. Usually when you are scoring essay, if the person is providing an idea, it implies that you are going to be scoring the idea partially if it is closer to the answer, not correctly the answer. So that's partial credit scoring method. And finally, we have the logical choice scoring method. This is usually used when all the options are correct but one is more correct than the other. I repeat myself, logical choice scoring method is used when all the options are correct but one is more correct than the other. So logically, the most correct one is awarded the full mark, followed by the next and the next. So even though there is a wrong answer, which is the distractor, other options may be correct but one will be more correct than the other. So when you are scoring, you will be giving full mark to the most correct one compared to other ones that are also correct but not as correct as the other ones. So these are scoring approaches that we can use, and it is important for us as educators to explore them rather than limit ourselves to the traditional number right, as we can also use other ways to score. Negative marking will deter students from guessing, so if they are used effectively, it will reduce those that will guess and limit their response. If they don't know it, they will decide not to leave it so that it will not destroy or reduce their mark. So I feel with this, after now, you can explore other methods rather than the number right that you are used to. Thank you for watching. Remember, we will still have more editions to explore issues that have to do with test and measurements. Subscribe. Thank you.